the tagline, I would get too attached, man. And to that, I think every foster parent would say, duh. That's the point. They need you to get too attached.
Yes.
They need it.
And I remember he showed up as a 2-year-old with scars on his hands from where he had hurt himself and bit himself.
Yep.
Anxiety and from fear and from awful things. And I remember thinking, like, I'm 11 years old, right? I've never had to physically hurt myself at 2 years old because of the trauma that I've been through.
Yeah.
And so it was eye-opening for me. You're gonna learn so much because, like I said, like in the beginning, when you're preparing the 8-year-old, you're telling them there's gonna be ups and downs, but you're not telling them that your entire perspective of the world and of life and of eternity is going to be shaped and changed by this.
All right, welcome to the Open Homes Initiative podcast, where we share stories to connect foster, kinship, and adoptive care to the crisis of the current system and to real-life people with real-life stories. We want to put names and faces to numbers and statistics here within our local community. My name's Justin Smith. I have the joy of hosting this podcast alongside my beautiful wife of, how long have we been married? 25? No, we've been dating 25 years. That's a fun one. Quarter century.
Ouch.
You don't even look that old. How can you be there? We've been married 21 years. We have 3 beautiful daughters. I'm outnumbered at home by and large, so we jumped into foster care just to get a boy in the house. Not really. But we've got 2 fosters at the moment, and we're joined this podcast by one of our bio kiddos, our middle daughter. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Jocelyn, but nobody calls me that. I usually go by Jolly. I am 15 years old. I live with my mom and my dad and my 2 siblings at home, and currently my 2 foster siblings. I do sports, enjoy different hobbies.
What's your favorite sport? Oh.
I don't know.
She wasn't ready for that question.
I wasn't ready
like,
for that.
I like sports.
I just like sports. I like basketball. I like volleyball.
Where do you go to school?
I don't. I'm homeschooled. I don't. I'm homeschooled. Started dual credit this year. Started some different things.
You did. Started dual credit, getting some college. You're a sophomore that's already getting some college credit. There you go. I would say the reason that nobody calls her Jocelyn is not simply because she got one of the best nicknames, but because the nickname fits her personality really, really well. It started off as Jala, and then some Jala Hala, and it eventually evolved simply
Just
into
Jolly.
Jolly.
Yeah.
That's
in fact,
who she
people
is.
were surprised the other day in volleyball. They said, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, your coach was like, Jocelyn? And she was like, you used my first
He
name?
found it. He was like on his phone. He found it on a document. He just looks up at me like, Jocelyn. He says nothing else. He didn't
We don't
say
have
hi.
a Jocelyn.
He didn't say hi when I walked in the building. Nothing. He just looks up. Jocelyn. Hi.
And she thought, I'm in trouble.
I don't ever hear that name.
So then they were all like, oh my gosh, we're going to start calling you that.
Yeah, so all
like it
practice
is
they
her
were calling me
nickname.
my full
Like, no,
name.
it's her legal name, actually. It's very beautiful.
Kind of like that name. We picked that name on purpose. But
Yeah.
Jolly does fit really well. And
Yeah.
it works great around Christmas time. She finds all sorts of stuff that just says
Got
Jolly.
plenty of shirts with my name on.
That's right.
So today we're talking about foster care, and we want your perspective as a biological child within a foster family.
yeah,
okay?
one of the things we hear all the time is how does moving into this arena affect your bio kids? So do you remember when we first started talking about foster care?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm sure there was like a sit-down discussion, like, hey, we're starting foster care, but I don't remember that. I was 8 or 9. I do remember the concept of, hey, we're starting this new thing, and there's gonna be really fun times, and it's gonna have a lot of enjoyable memories, and then always followed up with, but there's gonna be some really hard times, and it's not always gonna be super fun. And that's really just what I remember when it's like, what do you remember about starting foster care? That's just being told, we're gonna do this, and this is the best way I can prepare you. You're 8, so it's just gonna be cupcakes and rainbows for a little bit, but
Yeah.
we're gonna get started.
So do you remember our first placement?
Uh-huh, yeah.
What do you remember about that?
I remember being really excited, and they came in the middle of the night. So it was like a Christmas morning kind of thing, right?
Yeah, by middle of the night, you mean 2 o'clock in the
Literally,
morning, 3 o'clock in the
middle
morning.
of the night.
Yeah, we're excited, we're coming. We were new to that, and so we got a call, And it was about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock on the afternoon, and we were doing something. I don't remember what we were doing, but we were out of the house visiting people, doing something, and we rushed home. We were like, we got to get home. And then we call them back, and we go, well, we're still in Odessa. It's going to take a little bit. We're still waiting. And so finally we went to bed, and then we just left our phones on at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like, was like Christmas morning. You're going to wake up and you're going to have a brand new gifts and stuff, but it's this time like you wake up and you have like your best friend sort of thing. So I remember waking up that morning, and it sounds a little creepy, but it was a brother and a sister, and the sister was sharing a room with Danny, oldest daughter, and I remember like peeking in the door to see my new best friend, and like looking at the back of her head like this through the door, and like just getting so excited. I was like, this is gonna be amazing.
Is she gonna wake up?
Is she gonna wake up and see me? I was like rehearsing what to say to her. And, hi, I'm Jolie, and like just freaking out. It was amazing.
Yeah, because our first placements were, you were actually right in the middle of the two, or no?
Yeah, so you speak to that because you had that as one of your memories.
Yeah, because we were told originally that the sister of the siblings was going to be my age. So, and that actually she was born the day after me, same year and everything. I was super excited. I was like, we're twins. We're sisters. We're best friends forever now. Yeah. And then I don't know when later I found out it was the boy who was my age.
They had it backwards.
So I was like, okay. It was still like really cool, of course, because we were born like right after each other, like hours after each other. So it was still really cool, and to get to meet him. We had a really cool relationship still, but
yeah. So tell us what it's like to share really your space and your time, and I mean even your parents, right? With these kiddos that come in.
There's this common, I don't want to say myth, but there's this like misconception and often like a fear in both the children that like start foster cares and the parents, that when foster kids come in the system or come into your home because they need quote unquote more attention or more help or whatever, that the biological kids start to get somewhat pushed away or not necessarily forgotten, but forgotten. And
neglected maybe.
Yeah. And there is aspects of that, but not to the degree, because speaking as a biological child, when you hold the little babies, look into their eyes, or build relationships with those children, and you actually learn about their story or learn about where they come from, you understand that I can share my parents with them because they don't have that relationship with their own parents. I can share my time with them because somebody told me that I wasn't worth their time. I can share these things with them because it matters more to them than it does to me. And it's like, eventually it gets to somewhere where you want to share these things with them. You want to give them those relationships and those blessings that you've grown up with. And so it's like, of course, there's those hard times where it's, I'm 14 and I'm sharing my room with this 10-year-old. And of course, I'm going to get angry at her at times, or I really, like, just all these little frustrations.
She keeps the room neater than you keep it.
Yeah, there's all these frustrations that come with it. Yeah. But at the core, when you really understand what sharing and sacrificing your things looks like with them and how it shapes their life, and it's
is it worth it?
It's so worth it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Can you maybe think of maybe a specific child that we've had that's come through our home that maybe has had a big impact on you, or maybe that you connected to in a special way? We forgot to get the Kleenex out on the table.
Yeah, that might be good. This is part of fostering.
Yeah.
There's the hellos and there's the goodbyes.
Yeah. So after our first placement, once they left, which was pretty long, I think
we had them 13. Yeah, we had them 13 months.
Our very first placement was 13 months. Yep. This is unheard of, actually.
It was.
It's not typical.
It was good.
Yeah,
they got to go back home. It was.
They will always be big aspect in my foster story because they're the first. They're the
and they were your age.
And they were my age. They were my best friends.
Yeah.
They
we went through COVID together.
Yes. Yeah. So much of my childhood and stories that I'll tell even when I'm 80 or whatever will have to do with them, even though we were only together for a year. But so I guess them in a way, but really it was the child that came after that. We called him Nemo. That wasn't his real name, but we called him Nemo. And I remember he showed up with scars on his hands from where he had hurt himself and bit himself.
Yep.
From anxiety and from fear and from awful things. And I remember thinking, I'm 11 years old, right? And I've had so many blessings in my life. And I've never had to physically hurt myself at 2 years old because of the trauma that I've been through.
Yeah.
And so it was eye-opening for me as an 11-year-old to see that not everyone grows up the same way I do. And
Yeah,
because I was told, like, there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs.
Yeah.
But up until this stage, I'd really never known, like, why they were there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't information that we gave
Right.
you guys. We
Yeah.
didn't give you
Yeah.
every little,
And it's not
detail.
always evident, but when
Right.
you see scars
Sure.
on hands that perfectly
You know,
match
like, this
teeth,
Yeah.
is a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
and it's
who
not
has
just a
gone
one-time
through-
event that they've done.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
You watch them go through it.
And yes, and it's not like he comes into our house and it's from the past. Like, he's 2, and we worked
Yeah.
through those problems together. And he continued to hurt himself even in our own home. It was just the connection that we had from that, and the realization of this isn't all just ups. Like, he's here not just because his
Yeah.
parents made, like,
there's
one
a
mistake.
reality
Like, there's
of why they're there.
huge reality. So it kind of was like, so I guess I'm really connected to him in that. That was my first experience as an 11-year-old to, like, bad things happen in the world, you guys. Like, there's this 2-year-old that has the most amazing laugh, and somebody didn't care about that enough. And so,
Yeah.
And how did that make you feel just as like a sibling? Imagine that kind of puts you in a position to feel like I'm a protector of him. I'm a, as an older sibling, you want to nurture them and take care of them. And
Yeah.
yeah, almost sometimes with lots of different cases, not just with Nemo, but sometimes I get angry at parents because
Yeah.
when you experience, like, this child doesn't,
How could you?
how could you?
Yeah.
So that's,
Yes.
it's hard to look at the parent or to want them to even go home when you're like,
Yes, yeah.
this child is so hurt because of you. How could I want you to go home to them when I know I would never hurt them like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's also easy to be selfish. Like, I don't want him to go home.
It is. That's one of the difficult things that they talk to, that we get asked, right? Can you welcome this kid in? And then how can you, because we talked in the last episode, right, that we went into this as a family, not with the intent of adopting. If we adopt someday, then we do. We're not against it
Yeah.
by any stretch, but we went into it to help fight for restoration within the family.
Right.
So it is a very difficult thing to keep in mind, exactly what you said, where I see what the kids have gone through, and to not focus all of that anger on the parents, to actually, while they're here, try to build them up, try to invest in their wholeness, because we as Christians believe in redemption. We believe that God can take and restore the most broken situations, and oftentimes He walks us down those roads to the ends of our ropes, to the depths of despair, in order to move us into a place where we cry out both to
Yeah.
Him and to others to get help. And so that's we're hopeful. We do. We welcome a kid in and we go, how could you get to this point? But then we go, okay, how can we now pray?
Yeah.
And how can we work alongside them to hopefully see mom and dad
And I think
get healthy?
one of the questions that we get asked as foster parents in regards
Yeah.
to our biological children are, but how do you think it's going to affect them? Like, and you're gonna because adults are aware that this is going to be hard and difficult, and
Yeah.
that they're going to be very evident. Like, sometimes trauma is not evident, and sometimes it is, and so
Sometimes it scars on your hands, and sometimes
it's emotional scars.
emotional.
And so regardless, it's going to be hard. So adults understand that. And so they're going, how can you take your kids along for
Yeah.
the ride, essentially? And how do you think that's going to affect them? And I think for us, what we've always kind of come back to is, because of what we've seen happen with our kids over the years and through all their story, seeing all these stories, but we don't want to shelter our kids
Yes.
from the world around them. As Christians, I think when we want to raise them to be people of integrity and of character, and ones that embrace the gospel message, to run after and chase after the broken
Yes.
and the hurt, and
Yeah,
to
what-
meet people in their needs, that in order to raise children that are going to do that, then you can't shelter them and keep them in a little bubble. I wanted my kids to know
Yeah, what gift is it that at 11 years
Yeah.
old,
Yeah.
right, Jolly, you can go,
that you can
my upbringing is not how everybody gets it.
and that you can verbalize that,
Yeah.
and that you can speak into that, and now
beautiful.
she's got a different perspective of kids around you, and you're going like, wow, what's there that I don't see,
That we wouldn't have.
Yeah, that I wouldn't have known otherwise. And
it makes me think of another story that kind of goes into one of the next questions that we've got is, how has fostering changed your perspective of the world, changed the way that you see the world?
Yeah.
And one of our many roads that we've taken is house flipping. And so we were looking to flip a property that was apartment complexes. And for the last, I don't know how many years in San Angelo, that has just been basically a homeless camp. It's been destroyed in many ways.
Condemned.
And so we started to walk through that as a family, and we were peeking in windows, and I can remember Jolly and a couple of her sisters, and I think we even had Foster at the time. Oh, I know we did, because that was the illustration we drew out. And then we were going, who could ever live like this? And then we were going, your foster brother and sister right now got pulled out of a situation very similar to this.
Yeah.
And the look on your face and the look on Carrie's face in particular was just like, you got to see it firsthand. And you went, this is what this kid that I'm now sharing my room with, or this kid that is driving me nuts, or this kid that I'm chasing around like crazy and giving up my free time to care for, or this kid that, right? This is what they got pulled out of. And it's again, so are there any other kind of thoughts on how it's changed the way you see the world?
I'd say like value, like, because pretty much like what I was saying earlier, seeing kids in terrible situations and seeing kids that have been told like by the actions of their parents or of the actions of those around them that you are less valued than you should be, has given me this outlook that I don't care who you are. If you come to me saying that you have a problem, I'm going to be there for you because I know that my God would be there for you. And so it's like...
sounds like your story matters.
It sounds like your
both to
story
God
matters.
and to us.
It's pretty funny. Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful for the fact that we've gone into foster since I've been 8, because if I hadn't, I would probably treat people like... I don't say normal teenagers, but like snotty teenagers that like to be rude because it gives them attention or something like that. I will never do that because I know that people are valued.
Yeah, you can just relate to people better or on a different level, and see them for who God says they are, and not for what their circumstances have maybe put them in. Yeah.
That's been something that I've been learning a lot recently, and just like seeing how that looks in different aspects, like different places. It's just that when you understand that people have value, you don't treat them the way that the world treats people. You don't treat them and call them names that you call them.
There's a story behind their actions.
Yeah.
Even the ones that are hard or difficult to love, or that you naturally don't necessarily even fit in with, per se. There's a story behind it that...
And it's also... like when people hurt you, because if you didn't understand the value that they had, if you just say, or the value that comes to them in their story, and you just say, you hurt me, so I'm just not going to deal with you anymore, I'm not going to press into this relationship anymore, that's just because you don't understand the value that could come from leading them to Christ, that Christ ultimately has a plan and a value for their life. There's a purpose for them. And obviously, when people make mistakes, they're not working out that plan, and they're not pleasing. They're not being pleasing to the God, and they're not being purposeful. Whatever. But understanding that everyone has a purpose and has a value, just has been shaping the way that I talk to people, the way that I encourage people, the way that the patience that I have. You know?
That's great.
Yeah.
So let's say you've got a friend, and their family is thinking about getting into foster care. And you're sitting across the table from them, right? And they're like, man, my parents just told us we're going to do foster care, and I know y'all do, so just tell me, like, what do I expect? Or what would you tell another kid whose family is thinking about doing fostering?
You're run away now. Never come back.
No, I would say, like, you're going to learn so much. Because, like I said, like in the beginning, when you're preparing the 8-year-old, you're telling them there's going to be ups and downs. But you're not telling them that your entire perspective of the world and of life and of eternity is going to be shaped and changed by this. I would look at them and I would say, you're gonna find so much in this, and it's gonna look differently at different times. It's gonna be easy because you're gonna be able to look at a baby that I got to love on a few months ago and say, you're like the perfect baby. You cry when you should, that way I know what you need, but you don't cry when it's like you're the perfect baby. And then there's other times it's like, why
Except
won't
he
you
didn't
just
fall
like,
asleep until 4 o'clock in the morning.
until I put him to sleep. I just want to point that
okay.
out.
She did.
She
She was
did
the only one
get
that
him
could
to
put that
sleep.
I
baby to
was,
sleep.
we were connected. But there's also going to be times where you can't stand them and you
Yeah.
have to be put in a jacket
And they're just like
together just to.
Easy.
Okay, to be fair, for context here for those listening, they were bickering and fighting, and they
Over
were
a
like,
jacket.
And
Over
so
a
it's like, guess
jacket.
what? You can just both wear the jacket together. It wasn't a punishment as
It
much
was
as it was
kinda
a
funny.
learning experience.
It was funny. We took it as a challenge, honestly. I got my right hand
Y'all
and he
were-
had his left.
Y'all were small enough at that time to both fit in my jacket.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say like it's gonna look differently, but there's gonna be learning experiences and the impact that it's gonna make not only on your life but on the children's lives, and is just so worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Maybe one of the final questions we'll just wrap up with. If the future bears this out and the Lord calls you someday to do fostering, what would you do? What would you say?
Yes. I mean, it's kind of easy to say yes now because I don't know what the future's going to
Sure,
hold.
yeah.
I don't know what situation I'm going to be in, but I can't imagine a world where I don't. Just knowing, like what Jill said, like the statistics, and then actually having faces and seeing the little kids that are behind those statistics, it makes it so real.
Yeah.
And then you don't want the however many kids that don't have homes.
Yeah.
You don't want those kids to not have homes. And so I really hope and I pray that I be put in a situation where I am able to do that and I'm able to care for so many people, for so many children. And I hope I can do that for as long as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm okay. As right now with being, like I said earlier, like being 52 with a 3-year-old because
I mean,
that
hold on.
3-year-old.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
I know that sounds crazy, but
I'm not saying her mom is 52.
Yeah.
No,
she
no,
is not
I'm
to that
saying-
age yet.
I'm just saying I'm okay with the idea of being 52 and having a 3-year-old because the 3-year-old needs a home. Like,
Yeah.
I'm okay with that idea, at least right now. Sounds
Yeah.
crazy, but
No.
I can't imagine a
Not at all.
world where foster isn't playing a role.
In some way, shape, form, or fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been one of the neat things that we've seen with our kiddos, especially you and Danny, your older sister. You've both spoken into that. You at one time were even talking about opening an orphanage if that was even possible. Still,
Did I?
just to care for as many kids as possible. And I think it was a combination, if I remember right, of an orphanage and dog park or something along that line.
That sounds right. That sounds about right.
Along with fostering kiddos, you would take in every
You'd foster every dog.
possible. If,
Yeah.
Okay, wait.
able.
It's coming back to me.
That's
a good idea.
That's a great idea. No, that is. It's been really encouraging to
Yeah.
just watch y'all navigate and then grow into those arenas and get outside yourself and be willing to sacrifice. And so part of our story just recently, we stepped away from fostering for about a year. We had 18 months. We had a placement for 18 months, and then we stepped away for about a year to really get open homes up and going, to get this initiative off the ground, to focus on other families, to build into them, and to lay a strong foundation for this. And so we just recently, within the last month or so, opened our home back up. And before that, we had a conversation. Y'all are older now and can likely remember that, but the conversation was much more on, are you ready to get back into this, as opposed to trying to cast vision.
It was, hey, mom and dad are really feeling. We tell people all the time, you need to open your home. We need more open homes, and here we are with a perfectly good home that could be open. And so we just came to the girls and said, hey, this is what we're feeling convicted about. Maybe we need to open our home again. What do y'all think? Of course, we want them to be a part of the conversation as much as they can be. And I'm pretty sure all of them looked at each other and were like, yeah, we were just waiting.
I'm pretty sure Danny said, what took you so long?
Yeah, we're just waiting for y'all to decide when y'all are ready to do it again. What were your thoughts maybe with that? Maybe you could tell us more.
I mean, that was
Yeah.
it.
That
It was
was
just
it.
like
It wasn't a...
okie
Surprise.
dokie.
Not a question.
Yeah.
Here I am.
Yeah, because we should say our oldest is a senior now. She's going to be graduating this year. And so a big part of our questioning in that was, hey, are you okay with this? We don't want to take it. We don't want to take away from your senior year and all that could be.
Yes.
And so we do want your input here. And even she was saying, I'll do whatever you need. If I got to share a room, I'll share my room. You know, because I think, as you were saying, just they see the need themselves and they go, man, it's as much as things can be hard and difficult and frustrating, even at times when they really become a part of your family. They become part of the siblings. And so there is some little sibling fights and things that go on. Yeah. But in all of it, it's just also going, man, like, how could we not just continue to open our home to these kiddos when we have a perfectly good place for them to land and a family that they can be loved on in the meantime? And so for them, just for our girls to be willing and open to do that it's a joy to see, kind of. And I think maybe even a testament to some of those comments that we get about, what is this going to do to your kids? And it's like,
everyone,
the best possible thing it could have ever done.
It has been,
is what it did for my kids.
Yes.
And so I don't regret it at all. Obviously.
It's been fun for me just with this last couple, because Carrie's now, our youngest, is a year older. And to watch the ownership that she has taken in the baby you're talking about, it hit her hardest. Like, she spent, we had a season of moving your mom into a different house while we had him for just 6 days, and Carrie basically was like his nanny for those 6 days. Like, she took him everywhere. Her little bitty hip was carrying
so
that. Yeah, and I mean, she poured into that kiddo. So when he left, it was a rough first couple nights for her. But even these two that we've got now for the last few days, she's jumping right in.
Yeah, and I would say to that, to kind of add, like you said, that attachment piece is a big thing that people always ask you. Well, but I would get too attached. That's the tagline. I would get too attached, man. And to that, I think every foster parent would say, duh. That's the point. They need you to get too attached. Yes. They need it. It does so much for their little brain cells and all the little things there.
Absolutely.
Does it fix everything? No. Does it completely heal? No. But it creates in them a sense of peace for a time that says this is good and this is right, and their bodies and their minds can start to heal slightly. And so attachment is exactly what we want from us and from our kids. We want our kids to go all in.
Yes.
And that's our mission as a family, really, is anything you do, do it right as if for the Lord. Go all in. Don't shy away because you're going to get hurt and because it's going to hurt your feelings, or you're going to be really sad when they leave. You're going to miss out on some amazing opportunities to love these kids and to build relationships and make connections with them, and stories, right, that you won't be able to tell later if you don't go all in and get too attached. And so we welcome it and welcome our kids to do the same. Thanks for joining us today, Jolly.
Yeah, that was fun.
I could have done it without crying.
No, that adds the emotion. That makes the people listen. They go, oh, wow. It shows the heart, the going all in, everything else. So we should have just made Mom talk while she was crying with you.
Trying to avoid the camera.
All right. Thank you all for listening to another podcast from the Open Homes Initiative. We pray that you were blessed in the midst of this. If you would like to hear more, to get connected, feel free to like and subscribe and to check us out on Facebook, or go visit our website. And we'd love to hear from you, or see if there's some way we could walk alongside you, because we believe that your story matters, both to God and to us.